Welcome back, folks, and today we're opening our first toy from the Batman The Adventures Continue toy line. As I understand it, this line is based off a series of comics that is basically continuing the continuity of Batman the Animated Series. But it's obviously being done in comic form, and because of that, I guess they're kind of just like trying to bring in different elements of the Batman mythos that perhaps didn't exist back when Batman the Animated Series originally aired, or that they never got to. Because, I mean, Batman the Animated Series was right after the first movie, so it would have been early 90s. So I'm pretty sure Nightfall happened while the animated series was still on. I could be wrong, but either way, seems like they're using this new comic book as an opportunity to just, like I said, bring in elements of the Batman mythos that didn't make it into the original show. And here they have a figure that they're building as Azrael, although it's very clearly based off the costume that Jean-Paul Valley, who is Azrael, wore when he was Batman. Because if you've ever read the phenomenal massive event called Nightfall and its subsequent storylines, Knight's Quest and Knight's End, then you'd know that Jean-Paul Valley actually became Batman for a time, while Bruce Wayne was recuperating from his fight with Bane. But here they're just, instead of calling him Batman, they're just calling him Azrael. So it's based off his first costume, because he actually had two costumes during this era. The first one, which I want to say it was designed by Joe Quesada, but at any rate, I know Joe Quesada did the cover to the issue that had its first appearance. But he had a second costume, which is slightly tweaked. The helmet is different, but it maintained like these really sharp gloves. But they were both really cool costumes and very different from what we were used to, from Batman. In the 90s, everybody got different costumes, even Superman. So, they gave Batman a new costume. But I actually like these costumes, and actually what I find it frustrating is every time they make a figure based off this costume or Jean-Paul Valley's second costume, they always seem to be really rare and hard to get. But I looked out and I got those sold on Amazon for a fairly goodish price. I think I got it for like about $40, which honestly I think is a lot for a toy. But the only reason I kind of dished it out for this one is because they got me. They was like, oh, only 5 left in stock. So I was like, okay, well, it's $40 now or $60, $70, $80 later. So I figured, well, I'll just take the plunge, because like I said, typically, figures based off this costume are, few and far between, and they always end up being overpriced. So I figured, let me just bite the bullet this time and get it. And it's also my first toy from this Batman The Adventures Continue toy line, which, I'd seen, and I just kind of was on the fence about buying anything from it, because I'm like, well, it's not really Batman The Animated Series. I grew up watching Batman The Animated Series, so I'm like, it's just kind of in that style. But no, it looks cool. So, I mean, let's get it out. The only thing I'll note is that in the back, it doesn't have anything, which is kind of weird. Not even like a little blurb, explaining like who he is or what this costume's about. That's a shame. But I know what the costume's about because I read the comic book years ago. So. Batman the is nice. I like this. So you've got, you know, the original Batman the Animated Series like logo with like the key art, and then you've got Batman The Adventures Continue. The Adventures Continue. Ugh, can't talk. Oh, this is neat. Oh wow. Oh my gosh, they have the Gray Ghost? I didn't know that. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, I want the Gray Ghost. And you know what? I'm wrong. This isn't my first Batman The Adventures Continue toy. I have that Mr. Freeze. Well, I don't remember it coming in a Adventures Continue box. I thought it just said Batman the Animated Series. Maybe I'm just forgetting things. That Deathstroke looks really cool. Wow. Oh, and they have the Hard Out Batman. I gotta tell you, of all of these, the most tempting one is the Gray Ghost, because I love that episode. And I already have Mr. Freeze, who's my favorite. So, really cool. Wow, okay. Good to know. Alright, let's see, how do we get him out of here? I guess let's get the accessories out. And just fall out. That's good. I think I can just cut this. Yep, that was easy. This is neat. So in typical Batman the Animated Series fashion, his legs are very thin. He's very broad-shouldered. Like, really, these are massive. Yeah. And then he brings these alternate hands, which has the claws. I think I prefer these because you can't really see. Because that's one of the like distinctive things about him in the comic is that he has like claws. So I think I'm actually gonna swap out the hands. I hope these come out easily. Yep, and it did. Oh yeah. Yes, definitely he needs the claws. Wow. Wow, he actually looks really neat. I like that the cape is thick. Like it doesn't like, you know, move much, just, you know. And the only thing that worries me is that his legs are like so thin. I worry if he's gonna have like trouble standing. So only one way to find out. Let's see. All right, Azrael, do you stand? He stands. Yay! All right. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. You're the imposter. I think he said something like that in the comic when Bruce comes back. Yeah, this is really cool. Wow. Yeah, I don't think I have any toys of this particular Batsuit, so it's nice to finally have one. I had a long time ago, there was a toy line called, I want to say it was either Legends of Batman or Legends of the Dark Knight. And basically, it was almost like a toy line based off like all the Elseworlds. It had just different kinds of Batman. Like it had like a cyborg Batman, which looked like the Batman that appeared in an Elseworlds story called Robin 3000. It had like a gladiator Batman. It had a Batman that looked, I don't know, I don't remember what they called him. I think they may have called him like Swashbuckler Batman or something like that. But he looked kind of like the Batman from Gotham by Gaslight. He just had a horrible pose. He was posed to fight. But I mentioned that because they did have an Azrael Batman. But it was the second costume. It wasn't this one. Like I said, I don't think I've ever actually owned a toy based off the first Azrael costume. Because if memory serves, that Legends of the Dark Knight toy line had the second Azrael Batman costume, not this one. In fact, I think I actually had it twice. I think they made like more than one version. It was like different colors. It was like red or orange or something like that. But so it's nice to finally have this costume represented somehow in my toy collection, because I'm a big Batman fan. Particularly, of this storyline, because, growing up, this was one of the huge storylines. So it's nice to finally, have a toy that I can put next to the omnibus, It's always nice. So, Azrael Batman from, Azrael from Batman The Adventures Continues. Highly recommend this if you can get it for a decent price. And by decent, I guess at this point, that means around $40. Get it now, because I'm sure once they start selling out and getting scarce, they're going to go for a lot more. Alright. Well, that's it for Azrael. Tune in next time where we will open another Batman from Batman The Adventures Continues. The Adventures Continue. I can never say it right. But anyway, tune in next time when we open Super Armor Batman.